Funding for Colores was provided in part by the Nalita E. Walker Fund, KNME TV Endowment Fund, the Great Southwestern Arts and Education Endowment Fund, and viewers like you.
I am the bird, I am the cage, I am the bird, Lord, and I am the cage.
This time on Colores.
I hear your music.
Join us for great original music in this special Colores.
Nothing fills me up with empty like a goodbye kiss.
Featuring a concert and interview with one of New Mexico's favorite folk musicians, singer-songwriter Justin Evan Thompson.
A summer dress,
singing Holly.
Filmed live at the Outpost Performance Space, Justin is joined by some of New Mexico's best musicians.
How does it feel at the knees? You gotta learn, let 'em just come.
And shares his journey in music that includes 2 tours of combat in Iraq.
I can recall being on the plane headed to my second deployment, and I remember being certain that I wasn't going to make it back. I think that has absolutely colored who I've become.
It's all ahead on Colores.
It's amazing some of the hardest times in my life when you wouldn't think you'd pick up a guitar and strum on it. I did, and it's been kind of this confessional space for me when I pick up a guitar and I'm by myself.
A full house, huh? Thank you guys for coming.
From 19 till present, I've always had a guitar everywhere I've gone.
We are super excited to play for you tonight.
Folk music would ultimately be this, something I connect to deeply. I felt like I kind of connected to it before I actually ever even heard it and realized that it was something sort of in my bones.
When space and time crashing on themselves like a roaring rushing wave, and you hold on tight until you find that today has been replaced by yesterday. You may find yourself in a place you once were, in a place you never meant to stay. You may find yourself like a second chance that is washed up upon the bank. And when the east wind leaves and at last returns, it lingers in familiar wings. And love once lost is love not yet found, like an unopened letter, like an unfought fight. You may find yourself with the one you once loved, in a place you once loved to be. You may find yourself like an unopened letter, like a sun that has traveled from west to east, and the wave will bring you home. Yeah, the wave did bring me home. Yeah, the wave did bring me. And when the east wind leaves and at last returns, it lingers in familiar wings. When the east wind blows through a long black hair, every ghost has an anthem to sing. You may find yourself with the one you once loved, in a place you once loved to be. You may find yourself like an unopened letter, like a sun that has traveled from west to east, and the way will bring you home. Yeah, the way did bring home. Yeah, the way did bring me home.
The wave is about being picked up from the present moment and being brought back to the past and sort of reliving it. There's a lot of coming home from my deployment in that, and coming back home from a totally different world. I got a hold of a guitar first in Baghdad, and this is around shock and awe era. $200. But yeah, we'd be on 2-day motorized patrols, and first thing I do when I get back is grab a guitar and go somewhere by myself and write. The other Marines knew if I wasn't around that they could find me in that little, it's kind of a bomb shelter, playing, writing songs. So the 15 months I spent overseas, a good 90% of it is coping with the heat and boredom and missing your folks and wishing you could have real food. But there's 10% of it that's intense combat. And there's no real way to describe it. I can recall being in such an intense situation that my mouth went numb. You know, my gums and tongue went numb. Yeah, you don't really think about it while it's happening. And some of those more intense moments, you just take it for your reality at the time. And humans tend to cope really well with intense situations while they're happening. And it's not till later that you really can reflect on what that moment was like. You know, that's a highly developmental time in your life. You're figuring out who you are and what the man you're becoming. And I think what I really connect to about the wave, it wrote itself. It was an illumination to me of what was going on deep inside.
And I am I'm recklessness, I cut down all the trees to see the sky, and I'm restrained. I grew out my hair to cover my eyes, and I am freedom. I'm a flame put to a flag, and I am judgment. I'm a loaded gun in a loaded hand. I am oh, I am, and I am. I am the player, I am the stage, I am the bird, I am the cage, I am the bird lord, and I am the cage. And I am loneliness, transistor radio, and I'm a frequency, sometimes high, sometimes low. And I'm the speech that's spoken in between words, and I am silence. I'm the echoed song of a mockingbird, of a mockingbird. I am, oh, I am, and I am. I am the player, I am the sage. I am the bird, I am the cage, I am this. I'm 3 sheets in the wind. And I'm strength, I'm a toothless grin, I'm a busted chin, and I'm forever before never came around. And I'm always lost, and I'm always found, but I am who I am, and I am. Thank you so much for that.
I have a pretty organic editing process where I'll just write the song and have it come out as fast as it possibly can and try to write it. You know, there's songs that I'll graze on, but for the most part, they come out all at once, and then I revise through playing them. How it's sort of kind of asking the song how it wants to be played. And you know, you play a song 100 times and it's not the same song that you wrote. I connected to folk music because it represents like universal human emotions, pain, love, and I think it's the same thing that makes a good poem. There's got to be a sort of visceral thing to it, where somebody asks you, what's this song about? And you feel like saying, you know, I said it the way I did, because that's the only way to say it.
A slice of lemon smile, 2 light blue bowls of rain. In her hand she holds a flood, in her mouth she holds a sea. As the first few easy drops form patterns around my feet, before casting fingers draw designs on me. And oh, how does it feel? She sits naked on her heels to watch my earth mixing with her rain, sowing seeds of wildflowers in my veins. Limbs long and lean on the naked winter trees, he leans in to whisper early evening hymns. Ribbons of diamond dust fall slowly into rust. I drink him like the moonshine slipping in. And oh, how does it feel? He sits naked on his heels to watch my earth mixing with his rain, sowing seeds of wildflowers in my veins. I felt the water through my hair, and it run down in my eyes. Oh, when I opened them, the ceiling turned to sky. A white dove passing over, well, I knew his holy arms in the Mississippi, Jordan in July. feel? Naked on your heels, watch the earth mixing with the rain, sowing seeds of wildflowers in my veins. Yeah, how does it feel? Naked on your heels, watch the earth mixing with the rain, sowing seeds of wildflowers in my veins.
When I know I'm really writing is when I'm not thinking too much.
Thank you so much.
In certain songs, some great songs, I can, what I call hear the pen, where I can hear them writing, I can hear them contriving it almost. And some of my own songs, I can feel that it's being contrived, like I'm sitting down and trying to write a song. But I know I'm really writing when I'm not thinking about it at all. And sometimes it takes a minute to gestate. Something I've just written will come into focus like a Polaroid. And I'll see stuff that it's almost like, you know how some of your dreams are like way more intricate than you could ever dream of, think of with your waking mind. Some of my songs, they like come into focus after I've written them and after I've been playing them for a while, what they actually mean. So there's some deep subconscious going on too when I'm really writing.
You don't have to ask permission, 'cause I ain't never said no. You don't have to sit and listen, just take a piece of me and go. 'Cause I've known love lonelier than this. Nothing fills me up with empty like a goodbye kiss. Why don't you send me a picture of you in a summer dress? When you're somewhere far away, somewhere better I guess. And you tasted like a nectarine when I was hungry and alone. And when all the skin and flesh was gone, I bit into the stone. But there ain't no sweeter way to break your teeth. The softer the fruit, I've learned, the harder the seed. And from a seed, good Lord, I watched you grow. That don't make it easier to watch you come and go. You tasted like a nectarine when I was hungry and And when all the skin and flesh was gone, I bit into the stone. But there ain't no sweeter way to break your teeth. The softer the fruit, I've learned, the harder the seed. The softer the fruit, I've learned, the harder the seed. Yeah, the softer the fruit, the harder the seed.
I can recall being on the plane headed to my second deployment, and I had made it through one deployment. And I remember being certain that I wasn't going to make it back. I just knew it. And yeah, you connect to your mortality in those kinds of moments. And I think that has absolutely colored who I've become and affected my mentality about life, even though it was so long ago that it's hard to connect to even that feeling. But I can recall it in a way that I know it was formative. I know that it changed my direction. And when I got back, I knew I wanted to go to school, and I thought about being a lawyer, really gunned for that for a while. But I think it has affected my decisions to really pursue who I want to be, because it's not an easy lifestyle being a folk musician. It's hard. You go with a lot of comforts.
I think we got one more tune.
But there's a drive to do it because I, at some point, deeply connected to that being who I was and knowing that was my direction.
Ain't nothing to fear, my sweet little dear. The worst they could do is crucify you. And maybe they'll eat you, which isn't much worse. Maybe they'll draw and quarter you first. What's the worst they could do to you? It ain't never that bad. You see, I never had to learn how to run, 'cause that's in the bones of every mother's son. And I never had to learn how to fight, 'cause every God-fearing thing will be learning tonight. See, I had to learn, let them just come, pass over me like an angry storm. Yeah, the worst they could do to you, it ain't never that bad. 'Cause I spent too many years on my toes, and the rest I spent on my heels. Now wherever my feet are, I stand right above them. I think everyone should know how that feels. I think everyone should know how that feels. Well, don't you believe all the hellfire lies? The concrete will split and swallow the sky, and mankind will bathe in blood and disease. Every God-fearing thing will be quaking at the knees. You gotta learn, let them just come and pass over you like an angry storm. Yeah, the worst they could do to you, it ain't never that bad. And I ain't saying you gotta be brave, I ain't saying you gotta be tough. Just wherever your feet are, you stand right above them, and I promise you that's enough. Yeah, I promise you that's enough. Don't spend too many years on your toes. Don't spend any time on your heels. And wherever your feet are, you stand right above them. I think everyone should know how that feels. I think everyone should know how that feels. I think everyone should know how that feels.
I feel alive when I come off stage.
Thank you so much.
Being on stage pulls a lot out of me. So it's forced me to dig deep, because that's the only way I can really connect to an audience is if I'm being really who I am on stage. I can't fake it. So it's an earnest connection to who I am, and it's me being my most authentic.
Next week on Colores. Hidden by time and its remote location deep in Chaco Canyon, Pueblo Bonito is one of New Mexico's greatest works of architecture.
I think for a lot of people, including Pueblo people, modern Pueblo people, it's like a reminder of what we used to know and how we used to live and what we used to acknowledge in the world that we don't anymore.
Thrilled with the prospect of discovery, Santa Fe's Thomas Ashcraft records rare atmospheric phenomena.
So if chance favors the prepared observer, how does the observer prepare?
Albuquerque artist Amy Rangel documents the urban landscape as a way to raise awareness of how we live. Until next time, thank you for watching. Funding for Colores was provided in part by the Nalita E. Walker Fund, KNME TV Endowment Fund, the Great Southwestern Arts and Education Endowment Fund, and viewers like you.